Look, man, stop wasting seasons that were meant for you to build. Stop wasting, time periods and days of your life or months of your life that were meant for you to progress, that were meant for you to grow, that were meant for you to build. You know what I'm saying? Like you keep praying for this breakthrough, you keep praying for this opportunity, you keep praying for these different doors, to open, but you're wasting the season that was meant to prepare you for it. You're wasting a season that was meant for you to learn and be ready for that breakthrough, be ready for that opportunity, be ready for that door to open. Like you can't waste these seasons, bro. God can't elevate what you refuse to develop. He can't elevate what you refuse to work on. He can't elevate what you refuse to put energy towards, to put time towards. Like every season that God puts you in has a purpose. Whether you like the season, whether you don't like the season, whether the season is all going good, it's all going bad. Like every season that God puts you in, every experience and every environment and situation has a purpose. And every season is not meant for winning, bro. Like some seasons are going to be hard. Some seasons are going to be tough. You know what I'm saying? Some seasons you're going to feel like you've lost everything. You're going to feel like, you're at the bottom. You're going to feel like you hit rock bottom. Like all seasons, they're not meant for winning. Some are meant for building. Some are meant for learning. Some are meant for you to find yourself, find your way back to God, find the things you like, find out who you are. Like there's so many different things and situations that God put us into in order to learn, in order to grow, in order to prepare, in order to build, in order to win, to lose. Like there's a lot, you know what I'm saying? And every single one of those has a purpose. Like we all want the spotlight, bro. We all want to reach our goals. We all want to reach our dreams and be successful, be the best version of ourselves. Like we want that spotlight. But we got to understand that God is still working on our foundation. God is still building us up. God is still preparing us. God is still, putting us in places in order to learn, in order to grow. And if you skip these preparation seasons, if you skip these learning seasons, these building seasons, if you waste these different seasons, you're not going to be ready for that blessing when it comes. You're not going to be ready for that breakthrough. You're not going to be ready for that opportunity. You're not going to be ready for that, door to open that you've been praying so hard for. So we can't skip out on the seasons that God is putting us in order to be ready for those things. We can't waste these seasons. Like when God puts us in a season, when God shows us something and, kind of shows us the way that we got to go, like obey that. You know what I'm saying? Obey that. Like obedience is a really big thing in this, bro. When you're not obedient, you're not going to be able to, experience the blessings that God has for you because you're trying to take your own route. You're trying to take your own path. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to go according to your plan instead of God's plan, instead of the seasons that God wants you to go through in order to be ready for what you've been praying for. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, it says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. I'm going to say that again. To everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. That simply means, bro, like there's a season for everything. Like I've been saying since I started this video, like there's a season, there's a purpose for every season. And there's also a time for every purpose under heaven. There's a time for everything. Like everything happens for a reason, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a time for everything to happen. And it might not be that time that you want it to happen. You know what I'm saying? It might not be during the day or the month that you want it to happen, but there's a time for that. It's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then everything, there's a season for everything, bro. Preparation, winning, losing, building, learning, growing. Like there's a season for everything, but you can't waste these seasons, bro. Like you got to go in and obey what God is trying to teach you, obey what God is trying to show you. You know what I'm saying? Obey what God is trying to build up or prepare you for. Like you got to obey these things and we got to stop, wasting them. Even the quiet seasons, bro. Like sometimes we feel like we don't know what's going on. Sometimes we feel lost. Those hidden seasons also build strong character. They also build you up. Like the quiet seasons are where God is building your discipline. He's building your consistency, your humility, your dedication, your habits. Like when God feels like he's not there, when it feels like he's not doing anything, when it feels like he's moving, are the most vital seasons, you can ever go through because you're being built in ways that you would never have experienced before. Like those quiet seasons is where you really got to lock in the most. And I talk about this all the time, bro. Like Just because it's quiet does not mean God isn't working. It doesn't mean God isn't moving. It doesn't mean God isn't preparing you. You know what I'm saying? He's still building you, discipline wise, consistency wise, dedication wise, life wise. Like, he's still building you up. But you can't waste that season also. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean you can go out there and not obey God. You know what I'm saying? Even when no one's clapping for you, like, that's when your growth actually happens. When no one's in your side, when no one's in your corner, when no one is cheering for you, bro, like, you still got to be able to show up and do what's right. And that's the same with God. Like, when it feels like God is not there, when it feels like God is quiet, you still got to be able to do the right things in order to be where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? You still got to go to God. You still got to get in your word. You still got to pray. Like, you got to do all the right things, because that's where the true growth happens. That's where the true preparation happens. That's where the true, foundation is being laid. Like, stop rushing out of what God's using to make you stronger. Stop trying to rush through it. Stop trying to take the shortcut. Like, take everything one day at a time, bro. And when it's time for you to come out of that season, God's going to pull you out of it. You know what I'm saying? When it's time for that breakthrough is going to happen. When it's time for that opportunity or that door to open, like, those things are going to happen when it's time. But we cannot rush through it. We can't rush out of it. We can't kind of try to take the shortcut. Like, we got to go through every season, every single day, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? In order to experience that blessing that God has been preparing for us this whole time. Like, stop rushing out of what God is using to make you stronger, what God is using to prepare you, what God is using to build you, what God is using to, help you learn something or see something in life that he wants you to see. Like, do all those things now, build now, learn now, prepare now, so you can handle all these things later, so you can handle the big stuff later. Like, the dream and the goals that you have are not going to be able to survive if you're not strong enough to carry it. Yeah, God could give you everything you want right now, but he knows you're not ready. He knows you're not prepared. You're going to dwindle all those things away because you're not built for that yet. You know what I'm saying? You're not prepared for those big things yet. And he knows that, and that's fine. Like, there's a time and a place and a moment in life where God is going to bring those things in your life, but he's got to prepare you first. He's got to build you up first. So use this time, bro, to, get your habits right, get your mindset right, get your faith right, get your discipline right, motivate, whatever it may be, bro. Like, use these seasons to build all those things. Use these seasons to learn. Use these seasons to prepare, because that's what God is doing it for. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows, like I said, you're not ready for those things yet, and that's okay. Like, those things are coming, but you got to be prepared for them first, so you don't mess them up, so you don't drop them, so you don't fumble them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't expect to see a big harvest if you've never planted during the building season. If you've never planted that seed during those seasons that God has told you and wanted you to plant the season, like, you're never going to be able to see that harvest. So stop wasting these seasons, bro. Stop wasting these times that God has planned for you to build, that God has planned for you to work, that God has planned for you to learn. Like, stop wasting them. Stop wasting them. Stop wishing the season away. Stop trying to rush through the season and start working in it, working on yourself, working on where you want to be, working on who you want to be, working on your goals, your dreams, like, whatever it may be, bro. Just don't waste it. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste the opportunity for you to learn. Don't waste the opportunity for you to grow, for you to build, for you to just become a better person and be prepared for the big thing that God has coming down the road. You know what I'm saying? Like, the season you're in right now is setting up the one that you've been praying for. The season you're in right now is setting up the blessings that you've been praying for maybe since you were little. You know what I'm saying? So you can't waste these times, and you cannot waste these moments, bro. You got to work in them every single time. But that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. With 700 subs. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one.